Hello and welcome to another edition of the Presbyterian Podcast. My name is Gethin Russell Jones. Helo a chroeso i'r podlediad Presbyteraidd. Fy enw I yw Gethin Russell Jones. Yn y rhifyn arbennig hwn, ni'n paratoi am y Gymanfa Gyffredinol yn Aberystwyth wythnos nesa. Cawn glywed oddiwrth y grwp Niaco o Fadagascar. Maen nhw'n teithio ledled Cymru ac yn perfformio yn y Gymanfa yn Aberystwyth wythnos nesa. Gyda llaw, yn y cefndir, fedrwch clywed Niaco yn canu ei fersiwn nhw o Psalm 23 yn Malagasy. In this special edition, we are preparing for the General Assembly in Aberystwyth next week. We'll hear from Niaco, a group of performers from Madagascar. They are touring Wales at the moment and will appear at the Assembly next week. By the way, the music you can hear in the background is Niaco's rendition of the 23rd Psalm in Malagasy. I'm joined now by Miara Rabiresua, who is the mission enabler for the Presbyterian Church of Wales in Mid Wales and in the borders, I think, Miara. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yes.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Miara. And today we're particularly thinking about the visit of a group called Niaco from Madagascar, who, as I understand it, through song and performance and dance and music, are really kind of telling the story of Malagasy culture. Well, I wonder, could you tell us maybe a bit more about Niaco, what your links are, and maybe the links with Wales as well?
The group Niaco is from Madagascar, and Niaco means the echo in English, and they are from the Scripture Union in Madagascar. They will be with us here in Wales from the 14th of June to the 15th of July, and they are going to perform in different places here in Wales. About 24 concerts, I think. Before COVID, this group used to tour here in Europe every 2 years. And this is their first time back after COVID. And I used to organize their tour here in Wales. This is my fourth time to organize their tour here in Wales. The group are made of 13 people. So those 13 people have their own work in Madagascar. Some are teachers, some are drivers, some are working in the office, but they commit this time to do an outreach here in Europe every 2 years.
Well, it's amazing, Miara. It's amazing because it's a huge commitment on the part of your brothers and sisters in Madagascar. And I understand, Miara, that there's a very strong historical, but also very strong missional ties between Wales and Madagascar. And I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about the story, the backstory, if you like.
Yes, you are right that there's a strong link between Madagascar and Wales. And because the first missionary who went to Madagascar, they were Welsh missionaries from Ceredigion area, David Jones and Thomas Bevan, and they arrived in Madagascar in 1820 by the invitation of the King Radama, the King of Madagascar at that time. When they arrived in Madagascar, they started schools, but also very quickly they learned the language Malagasy. And later on, they started church. And within few years, they had so many children Malagasy children attended the schools, but also the church grew very quickly. So Wales have a very special place in our hearts, and we feel very privileged to come here to Wales and to work, but also to pray for people here in Wales and to do the outreach here in Wales because of that big connection between Madagascar and Wales. Our first Bible in Madagascar was translated by the Welsh missionaries. So they were saying like it's one of the best translation amongst the Bible in Africa at that time. So yeah, we are very grateful for those Welsh missionaries who went to Madagascar. Often people forget those links here in Wales, but for us in Madagascar, we really look up high on the Welsh people to send those brave missionaries to us, because it was not an easy journey. It took them at least 6 months to reach Madagascar. And those young people from Gyda left their family to go to Madagascar. And there's more story about it, a tragic story, because some lost their lives there in Madagascar because of malaria, but also amazing story because through them, the church in Madagascar really flourished. And now there's millions of people are Christian in Madagascar, and more than 60% of the Malagasy people are Christians. So we are so grateful for what the Welsh missionary did in our country. So for Nyaku to come here in Wales, it's like giving back what the Welsh missionary gave to them. And we want to carry on with that link.
Well, what a fascinating story, Miara, one that's quite new to me and maybe to quite a few people who are listening to this podcast. So coming back to Nyaku, Miara,
Yes.
so if I were to come along to a Nyaku concert, what can I expect to happen at one of these events?
So Nyaku is showing a Malagasy culture through dancing, singing, showing playing Malagasy instruments, but also showing their Christian background also. So it will be very colorful, very tropical music, lots of dancing, but also there will be a way of showing some Malagasy culture, because we have 18 tribes in Madagascar. So they will show those 18 different tribes through dancing and through singing the way we do it in Madagascar. And maybe people who will come will learn some Malagasy also.
Lovely. Thank you, Miara. Well, thanks ever so much for joining us today. We're really excited about Nyaku and the introduction of Malagasy culture into what often feels like a very wet part of the world, wet and cold at the moment. So this will be a welcome introduction to us all. Maybe as we're finishing, Miara, you and your wife Rebecca and family are now living in mid Wales. So how has that transition been for you, moving from Madagascar into Wales?
I've been here we've been here in Wales for 13 years now.
Okay.
First, we were down in South Wales for 8 years and 9 years, and then we moved up here in mid Wales. So Wales is coming to Wales is like, for us, it's a special place, you see, because of the historical connection. And when we mention to people about the history, we connect straight away because of that common history. So we, apart from the weather, sometimes we feel at home here.
Ac yn olaf, clown oddiwrth y parchedig Nan Powell Davies ysgrifennydd cyffredinol yr Eglwys Presbyteraidd yng Nghymru sy'n sôn am y Gymanfa Gyffredinol wythnos nesaf. And finally, we hear from the Rev Nan Powell Davies, General Secretary of the Presbyterian Church of Wales, talking about next week's General Assembly.
Y Gymanfa Gyffredinol ydy'r cyfarfod blynyddol hwnnw lle yma holl lysoedd, holl bwyllgora Eglwys Presbyteraidd Cymru yn dod at ei gilydd i roi diwadroddiad blynyddol. Ond eleni, mae'r gymanfa ar ei newydd wedd. Yma hi yn gymanfa fydd yn cyfarfod am ddiwrnod a chydig oriau. Un noson fydd hi yn hytrach na 2 noson i ffwrdd. A da ni'n edrych ymlaen yn fawr iawn i gael arbrofi ryw dipyn. Ac y prif bethau mewn gwirionedd fydd yn cael i'w dweud a'i gwneud yn ystod y cyfnod hynny. Mi fyddwn ni am y tro cyntaf erioed yn cael dathliad o'n gweinidogaeth a'n cenhadaeth. Fel rheol, da ni'n derbyn adroddiad o'n gweinidogaeth a'n cenhadaeth. Ond eleni'n hytrach na adrodd be sydd wedi digwydd, da ni'n mynd i gael cyfle i wneud hynny drwy gyfrwng mawl ac addoliad yng nghwmni ein gilydd. Mi fydd y rhai o'n gweithwyr ni'n arwain y mawl, ac mi fydd na weithwyr eraill yn cymryd rhan drwy adrodd yr hyn sydd wedi digwydd yn ystod y flwyddyn. A hefyd i rannu am ei deheadau i'r dyfodol. Da ni hefyd yn edrych yn flaen yn fawr iawn i groesawu 2 grŵp cerddorol, un yn Gor o Mizoram yng ngogledd-wyrain yr India, lle mae'n cysylltiadau agos iawn i wrth gwrs. A nhw yn Mizoram. Mae Côr y Synod, sef prif gôr yr eglwys, yn dod i Gymru ac yn ystod y dyddiau nesaf mynd i fod yn treulio amser efo Côr Cefndir, mynd i fod yn Steddfod Llangollen ac yna'n dod ato ni i ganu ac i rannu yn yr amser o addoliad a mawl efo ni yn y gymanfa. Da ni hefyd yn edrych mlaen i groesawu grŵp Nia Acw, sef grŵp Cawn a Dawns, grŵp offerynol hefyd, sydd yn rhoi mynegiant o'i ffydd, ond hefyd sydd yn rhoi mynegiant o ddiwylliant Malagasi. A maen nhw wedi dod yr holl ffordd y Fadagascar, ac wedi bod yma yng Nghymru'n yn plith ni am rhai wythnosau erbyn hyn. Mi fyddwn ni hefyd yn adrodd ar y pethau hynny y mae gyda ni gyfrifoldeb tuag atyn nhw fel eglwys, y pethau corfforiaethol hynny sydd yn gallu bod yn faich arno ni, ond mi fydd y gymanfa hefyd yn gyfle i ni drafod y pethau hynny a cheisio adirnad y ffordd gywir ymlaen. Da ni'n edrych ymlaen am 2 ddarlith hefyd. Yda ni yn edrych ymlaen am y ddarlith hanes, lle fydd y parch Gymanfa Davies yn mynd â ni efalla i le anghyfarwydd ac mi fyddwn ni'n cael yn atgoffa o'r hyn ddigwyddodd yn y genhadaeth oedd gyda ni yn Llydaw. Ac yna ar y dydd Mawrth mi fyddwn ni'n mynd ati i gael y ddarlith Davies gan y parch Marcus Robinson. Marcus wrth reswm wedi treulio blynyddoedd efo'r llynges fel caplan, ac mi fydd Marcus yn harwain ni drwy ddarlith i feddwl yn ddyfnach am gaplaniaeth, ac yn siŵr o fod, yn ôl i afiaeth ei hun, yn siŵr o fynd â ni ar y moroedd mawr ac yn mynd â ni i'r byd hwnnw. Felly mae gyda ni gymaint i'w ddathlu, ond mi fyddwn ni hefyd yn cofio. Fyddwn ni'n cofio am anwyliaid ydyn ni wedi colli yn ystod y flwyddyn aeth heibio, ac mi fyddwn ni'n diolch i Dduw am ei gwasanaeth nhw, ac mi fyddwn ni yn gorffen y gymanfa mewn amser o gymyn, o amser o goffau hefyd, ac mi fydd y bregeth yn yn harwain ni at fwrdd y cymyn fydd yn cael ei weinyddu gan yn llywydd ni y parch Aneirin Owen. Mi fyddwn ni'n cael pregeth gan y parchedig Rebecca Lalbiak Sangi. ac wrth gwrs mi fyddwn ni hefyd yn dathlu bod Rebecca yn ystod y flwyddyn aeth heibio wedi cael ei ordeinio yn wenidog yn mysg ni, ac yn wir y ferch gyntaf o Mizoram, Gogledd Wyren yr India, i gael ei ordeinio ac i ddod a gweithio a gweinidogaethu mewn gweinidogaeth ordeiniedig yn mysg ni. Felly, llawer i edrych ymlaen amdano fo. Cofiwch hefyd fod lot o'r cyfarfodydd hynny'n gyhoeddus. Maen nhw'ch edrych ar yn gwefannau cymdeithasol ni ar y we, ac mi fydd yr link i chi'n ymuno gyda Zoom, neu i chi ddod mewn person, mae'r manylion i gyd ar gael ar y we. Felly, croeso cynnes i chi gyd. The General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Wales is our general annual meeting, where all the courts of the church gather together and all the committees. And it is usually a time that we give the reports and also that we commemorate those that have died during the last year. But this year, General Assembly will look a little bit differently. And for the first time ever, we will be celebrating our ministry and mission. And rather than reporting, we will be having a time of worship together led by some of our workers. And we will have a time to thank the Lord for that we have been able to witness and to be part of during the last year. We will also, this year, we will be having visitors, international visitors, when we're thrilled to be welcoming the Synod Choir from Mizoram, the state of Mizoram in northeast India, as well as nhw'n, a worship band, through dance and song and instrumental, all the way from Madagascar. nhw'n have been with us for a few weeks, and the Synod Choir just arrived in the UK, arrived in Heathrow yesterday afternoon. So we are thrilled to be able to welcome and to receive our guests as well. And we have so much to celebrate, but we also, during our 27 hours together, we will also have some business to attend to from the cooperative side of the running of the church from day to day, as well as listening to two exciting lectures. And the first, the history lecture, first of all, on the Monday afternoon, being delivered this year by the Reverend Gymanfa Davies, and he will be lecturing on our mission field, believe it or not, in Brittany. And he will refer to this mission field most probably as maybe even the forgotten mission field that we as a church were part of many years ago. We also look forward to the Davies lecture this year. It will be presented, and it has been prepared thoroughly by the Reverend Marcus Robinson. Marcus, as some of you might know, spent quite a number of years in the Navy as a chaplain, and he will be sharing some of his reflections and thoughts, and most probably, knowing Marcus, his experiences that he experienced on those deep seas over the years. We will also finish our time together this year in a memorial service for those that have reached glory before us. We will thank the Lord for their service, and we will come humbly before the communion table. We will be preparing ourselves towards the communion by listening to one of our newly ordained ministers, and that is the Reverend Rebecca Lalbiaksangi. the first woman from the Mizoram Synod of the Presbyterian Church of India, the first woman to be ordained in our midst here in Wales. And we will receive communion by our moderator, Rev Nan Powell. And I invite you all very warmly to come to our public meetings, which will be held during the course of the 27 hours. Please do look on our social media pages and also on our website to get the details. You can either join by Zoom, or you are very welcome also to come to Aberystwyth in person. So with those few words, we are certainly and humbly looking forward to seeing everyone in Aberystwyth on Monday and Tuesday.
Diolch am wrando. A gwrandewch am y podlediad nesa yn fuan iawn. Thanks for listening, and listen out soon for the next podcast.
Pichaka